And now join your palm in Namaskar Mudra. Get ready for Om chanting. Inhale deeply and chant Om. Do it 3 times. Feel the vibrations inside your body. Now rub your palms together. This will generate some warmth. Place your palms on your eyes. Feel the warmth. Slightly massage your face. Namaskar. Open your eyes. So we have been talking about Kathopnishad, the story of death. And we have always wondered what a death can have. What a death can have, you can have it too. What is that a death can have? A death can have immortality. Death is immortal, as of course a death cannot die. You will die, but not the death. And if you can learn to die, then you can be immortal as well. Then you can also taste the immortality. And in relation to death, to that God of death talked about this fire within. And he said, whosoever can manage this fire can go beyond the death. There is nothing outside, as I have always said. Even Patanjali says the same thing, there is nothing outside. Even the crux of the death is also inside, the fire within. And we can go beyond this fire, beyond the death, by watching, by managing this fire. You can also pass through this fire. I'll walk you through it. I'll take you there, and then you can knock at the yum's door. So listen very carefully. Last time we talked about that I'll send you some assignment. I did not do so. So right from today, the assignment is this: to ignite this fire within. Today, before you sleep, lie down on your bed for 10 minutes, 10 to 15 minutes, and make your room dark. Close all lights, of course. And now close your eyes and throw all your breath out. Throw all your breath out, always remember that. All the air out. You have to start by throwing the air out. So you have to start with the exhalation and not inhalation. And while you are exhaling, utter O, utter Om. And you already know what Om is because we have been doing so in Pratyahara for a long time. So lie down, start by exhaling. You are not inhaling. Always remember that. And very quietly utter Om. Slowly and slowly, very slowly, in few weeks or days, the sound of Om will get clearer and clearer. And then very slowly the sound of Om will happen automatically. It is like you will say O and the last syllable will automatically happen. The vibration will automatically happen in the coming days or weeks. Slowly, you will not require to utter the complete sound of Om. It should happen from within. It will happen, the vibration will happen automatically. But please don't make it a task, don't make it a goal. Don't worry if it does not happen, that is okay. Don't get stuck on this sound. It will take its own time, will happen in the due course. But again, remember that exhale completely, complete exhalation, and then close your lips. And then let the inhalation happen automatically. You are not inhaling, it is happening automatically. It has to happen. So it will happen on its own. Normally, what we do is we focus on inhalation. We inhale, and the body exhale. That is what is the normal course of action. That is what happens. We inhale and the body automatically exhale. The breath which is going in is related to the life, of course, and the breath which is going out is related to the death. If you ever see when a kid is born, what he will do in the next few seconds, for the first time, in fact, is he will inhale. He will not exhale. The kid will inhale because there is no air to exhale. There is no air in the womb. He is not coming out with the air. This is called as the breath of life. And the one who is dying, the dying man will not inhale, he will exhale. The last breath is the exhalation, not the inhalation, because if the breath is left inside, there can be no death. Death is exhalation and life is inhalation. So every moment when you are inhaling, you are living. And every time you are exhaling, you are dying. And in this time, when you are lying on your bed in the night and trying to sleep, you are trying to become Nachiketa. As Yam says, that this breath which is going out, the breath of death, will be called by as Nachiketa, one of the boon, one of the wishes. All your focus will be on exhalation and not inhalation. And don't worry about not inhaling, worry about death, because that's not going to happen, because the inhalation will happen automatically. Inhalation will take care of itself. You don't have to do anything about this. You don't have to stop it. Do not try and stop your inhalation. If it comes, it comes. You do nothing to stop it. So every day for 10 minutes, you do this. Because sleep is also a part of death. You're dying a small death when you're sleeping. Every sleep is a small death. And if sleep is with the exhalation, if you go into sleep with the exhalation, then your entire sleep can be a deep experiment into the death. So do this experiment every day without an holiday. We will start with this. Now, let us try and understand something about this little boy called Nachiketa, because it is very relevant to this story. Because unless you have understood the explanation into the death, we cannot understand. So we have to understand where is this coming from, because normally we would say a small boy asking these questions and all of that is nothing, is not irrelevant, is not relevant, it's very irrelevant. What we have to understand is Nachiketa may be 9 years of age. But if you ask me, the age of soul, the age of consciousness is infinite. The age of consciousness is unending. And so we have to get this, that in reality, no one is a small kid. In fact, what I am trying to say is, no one comes with a blank slate. No one is a blank slate. And so, even with the kids, we should be very careful, we should be very cautious, and we should treat them with a lot of respect. They are also very old. This body may be new, but what is inside this body, this consciousness, is not new. This consciousness is as old as this word is. This consciousness is born millions of times and gone millions of times. This consciousness has felt each and every emotion there is, time and again. It has felt happiness and it has felt sadness. It has felt pain and it has felt joy. It has seen the mysteries of the life unfolding. It has seen all the doubts we have in the life. It has seen all the truths and the untruths. The consciousness has seen everything there is to be seen. The Eastern mind, an Indian mind, would have no problem in getting this. But thinkers of the West would have difficulty fathoming it as to how such a small kid can raise such deep questions. We have no problem here in India. This is because Christianity, Islam, and Judaism, these three religions which happened outside of India, believe that there is only one life and one death. There is no coming back. And so, in their mind, hence a small kid cannot raise such questions because then age is there. It's not about coming again and again. Because understanding for such a deep questions requires an old age. It is not the continuous process. But if you ask me, Nachiketa is not the only one. It is not just this story that I am talking about. Thousands of such kids have shown this proof. They have shown time and again in the East and in the West that such proof exists. You have heard of Mozart, the great composer. He was so skillful at just 7 years of age. He was as skillful as a man of 70 cannot be. And how can how can such skill can come in? It takes around 70 years to gather that skill, and he had it. And he showed such signs when he was just 3 years of age. So there has to be something, there has to be some past journey which is going on. The kids have given such proof as young as 2 years of age. And so Nachiketa is not only one. So I can safely say that what Nachiketa has asked, this has been a very old exploration and going on for quite some time. It is also said about Lao Tse, the Chinese philosopher, that he was born old. And same can be said about Nachiketa as well. As what he is asking, maybe even he doesn't know. But in the past, he may have asked this question time and again, thousands of times before. He has sat in the front of many gurus and knocked on many doors before as well. And this is quite visible in this story as well. In fact, in India, Shankaracharya passed away in just 33 years of age. And those 33 years of age, he wrote summaries on Brahma Sutras, summaries on Upanishads, summaries on Bhagavad Gita. 33 years of age. This is no small feat. Because normally it is said that it requires even more than 300 years to do the work he did in 33 years. He died in 33rd years. Shankaracharya started writing when he was 7 years and he wanted to become monk at 9 years of age. 9 years? Can you believe it? It is nothing if you look at it age wise. Most of us are what like? We are kiddish. We are immature. In fact, we are immature even in 90 years of age. So if you ask me, our mind, chitta, never really ages and remains same. Even in the old age, we behave like kids. Even if we are 80, we fight like that. We have the same thing as we were when we were kids. We remain as immature as we were. So Shankar asking to become monk in 9 years, what life he had seen in 9 years? What do we see in 9 years? So much so that he wanted to redeem from it. He wanted to gain freedom from it because you become monk when you want to have freedom and you have seen it all, when you have seen the futility of it all. He did not experience pain in those 9 years. He did not see most of the world. He did not see the pleasures of the world in those 9 years, and he wanted to become monk. So what does this mean? It means all pain, all pleasures, all happiness, all sadness. He had seen it all, and he had experienced all of that many times before, and so he found the life futile in that sense. In the West, this notion of mental age became popular. Mental age. There was this thinker called Binet in France, and for the first time, Binet gave this concept of mental age. He said body has an age and a mind has an age. And he also said this, that there is no relation between the two. So you can be of 60, 70 years, but still think like 7 years. And of course, opposite is also possible. Opposite is also possible. You would be surprised to know that in the Second World War, America wanted to know about the mental age of its soldiers. And when they did so, a very strange result came up. The mental age of the soldiers were of 13 years. Their mind had stopped at 13. Sigmund Freud, the psychologist, said that the most people do not age beyond 14 years. As at around 14 years, a person becomes sexually mature, and the mental age stops there. But the body keeps aging. So Binet found mental age. But in the East, thinkers had this notion of three ages. Three ages. One is that of the body, another that of the mind, and still another that of the soul. Three ages. And they say that there is no end to the age of soul. As this age of soul is as old as old to the 1 year kid as it is to someone who is 80 years of age or 90 years of age. So as per age of soul, or maybe you can call it age of consciousness, we are all equal. We are same. There is no difference between your age and my age. We are all the same age when it comes to the age of consciousness. And now, if you really understand it, Nachiketa is asking the question as per the age of soul and not as per the age of the body, because the questions are so deep. If you look at old people, we do that. Look at old people, look at kids. You will definitely see that among the kids, you will find someone old, someone who has that maturity. But among the old, you will find a lot of kids. If you really look, you're apt to see some differences, but these are just nothing, very little, just on the surface. Small boys and small girls, they're engaged in the marriages of their dolls. But if you look at it, aren't we doing the same thing? Aren't we also engaged in the same thing? We are engaged in Ram Leela. So this is those of most of you are from India. So you understand what Ram Leela is. We are marrying of Ram and Sita. Instead of dolls, we are doing that with Ram and Sita. Every year we do the same. The body has aged, but the mind has not. Our games remains almost the same. The kids fight on small things. But if you really look, when we are old, we also fight. We also fight about the small things. We are fighting over the flags. We are fighting over the territories. If you see war movies, thousands of soldiers have been killed, and very proudly they will hoist the flags at some village and then raise the slogans. It doesn't matter that thousands have been killed in doing so. But the flag has been raised very high. The flag is high. Janda ऊंचा रहे हमारा. That I am big, I am tall, I am great. This discovery is really stupid. And we give reasons and explanations for this. But in reality, we don't say I am big because this would hurt my ego. In reality, I do not say I am great, but instead I say my nation is great. Why? Because I was born here. India is great because I was born here. What if I had been born in Pakistan or Afghanistan? Then those nations would have been greater. My scriptures are great. My religion is great. My God is great. And we are all saying the same thing. But what in reality we are actually saying? Aren't we saying that I am great? Not in so many words. So it seems as if humanity is yet to mature. And somebody has said sometime that the age of humanity is around 10 years. And I don't doubt it actually. I think it is like that. Otherwise we would not be seeing so many wars and so many conflicts around. And it is increasing, it is not decreasing. So if you ask me, the age of humanity is actually going down. If old behaves in such a fashion, then sometime a small kid can behave like a old. If old can be kids, then a small kid can be old. And this is what is the very fundamental basis of this story. So, sorry. Now we come back. Nachiketa is talking about his third boon, third wish. We talked about three. He's saying that it is this doubt about the people who are dead, about the dead persons. Some says that after the death, this is the third question. After the death, the soul remains. Some says that. And some says there is nothing like that. There is no soul. Nothing remains after the death. So he's asking the god of death, Yam. So please explain to me. Please make it clear to me what is the truth. Now, if you really ask me, all religions are searching the same thing, aren't they? All religions are grappling with this one thing. Do we really die? And if the body is dead, when the body is dead, is death of a body ends end is ending us? Is it the end of us or something remains even after the body is gone? What is this? What is the fundamental question here? This is very fundamental because this is very central question and everything rests on this. Everything rests on the answer. Why is it so? It is so because all life's ethics and morality, the meaning in the life, the pride, the dignity, everything depends on this one answer, or rather this one question. That is, if everything is gone, what gone with the body, then what? Why is it so? If everything is gone with the body, then there is no meaning in ethics. If everything is gone with the body, there is no meaning in morality or religious or dharma. Then there is no meaning in any goodness or evil. It is same because in the end, the bad ones and the good ones will have the same fate. They will share the same earth. The bad one will also lie with the good ones. So in reality, do you think that there will be any qualitative difference? I'm saying qualitative. Is there any qualitative difference between the dust of the old ones and the good ones and the dust of the bad ones? The earth where they are lying is the same. They will mix with the soil and the soil will be same. You test the soil, you cannot say that the soil of this good one is better than the soil of the bad ones. Not like that. There will not be a qualitative difference between the dead body of a thief or of a saint. No qualitative difference. And both will reach at the same place. no exceptions. So the difference between the two was imaginary, and eventually the death showed that there was actually no difference. So whether you were doing good or bad, holy or evil does not matter. So this question is so important. It does not matter whether you are corrupt or honest. There is no difference between a truth or a lie, because in the end everything will become the same dust. And if that is so, then the basis of being good turns upside down. Then all that we have been taught in our universities and colleges, in society, in families, and all of that, it has been turned upside down. The premise itself that we have been raised upon looks to be faulty. And that is a problem. So it is not a small question. Our entire life depends on this question of death. What is this death? Where it will take us? What after the death? And that is why all the regions, all the scriptures are hovering upon it, talking about it. Some talks of heaven, some talks of hell. But in a way, even if they are not talking about the continuance, they are talking about the heaven or hell. The continuance is there. If they are not talking about that the life will come back, they are talking about some place sitting in the sky. We will talk about these questions as we go further in our story. We'll grapple with this because Nachiketa is asking the same questions. And that is why this story of Kathopnishad is so timely. In Hindi, we call it Samayik. It is so relevant. This particular scripture, which was written thousands of years back, is still as valid as it was then, it may be then. Because we are still grappling with the same questions and we have still not got the answer to it. So as we go into this scripture, we dig it deeper into it, we'll see what happens. But remember that to start doing your exercise every day for 10-15 minutes. As I said, lie down on your bed and start exhaling and watch yourself slowly and slowly. It's a part of you can say it's a part of your pratyahara. Now you are not just watching, you are exhaling. So just do this little exercise and we'll talk of this in the time to come. So now I'll stop here today. If there are any questions, if there are any comments, most welcome.
Yes,
Yes,
this
sir.
professor, this question of the death, is it because we get so attached to the body that we are afraid of death, or we want to know what's the meaning of life? Or is because we are attached to the body and we still not consider the soul? Is it because of this?
It is not about us considering the soul because we do not know soul. Even if I say, because if you consider the soul, if let's say I tell you that okay, consider the soul because it will solve all your problems, but then you are because you have maybe you have faith in me, so you are saying okay, the soul is there, but you have not actually experienced it. That is a problem. If you have not experienced it, and just because you have belief in me, you are saying that okay, I'll consider the soul. What is the meaning of it? The answer is again a superfluous one. It's not an actual answer that you get. Somewhere inside you still don't know. And this is what is the entire this is what is the basis. That I don't know. So even if somebody says soul is there, if all my scripture says, all Hindu scripture says that soul is there, I don't believe it. Because I have not felt it. I have not seen it. I have not experienced it. I have not seen that continuity of the million years that I am talking about. Even if Kathopnishad says, even if all the scripture says, don't believe in it. Experience it yourself. Patanjali has talked about the same thing, that you experience it yourself. Nobody, believe in nobody, believe not even in your guru, because and that is what was the fundamental basis of Buddha's teaching. Buddha said, Appa Deepo Bhava, be your own light. You don't have to borrow the light from somebody. Yes, of course, to start with, it is very important. To start with, the words of gurus are very important. Yes, they will show you the way, but that's all they are. They will show you the door, but you are the one who has to walk through it. So even if soul is there, I don't know. You experiment with it, and then you come back to me say, oh, hey, I felt that consciousness. This sorry, this work in Pratyahara is same. Is that only our journey is in Pratyahara is towards that only. There is so much similarity in Patanjali's Yoga Sutras and Kathopnishad that it would, in the end, it would almost be same, because we are dealing with the same thing here. Komal, you are on mute if you are talking to me.
Oh, sorry.
Hmm.
Did you have your question answered? Can I ask
Yeah.
my question now? Okay. So today you talked about three kind of ages, right? One is the age of consciousness, which
Mm-hmm.
is same for everyone, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
And then there is a physical age, which is related to the body. And then there is a mental age.
Mm.
And we have talked about mental age on an individual level and on the general level of humanity. So I understand the body and the conscious age and the logic that how they are different and same. What decides the mental age? What factors play the role?
Okay. What?
And can then and then can we like set age of consciousness we cannot change. It is same. And body age we cannot play. It's going to take its natural course. So can mental age be modified, transformed, or and what how when we as a child or as like we were talking about Mozart being 7 years old and being equivalent of skillful equivalent of being a 70-year-old. So what decides that?
So this is basically, as we always call it, the age of reason, right? Now, when we grow, what do we do? How do we grow? We grow by analyzing whatever is happening around. You read something, you hear something, and then some analysis goes on in your brain that what he or she is saying is right or wrong, and then you experiment with those words inside and out, and slowly we mature, right? Slowly and slowly, you know, we go to the point where the maturity happens. No, but then it is not with everybody. Even at the age of 80, people quarrel, people do stupid things. Why do they do it? Because of two reasons. First is, again, we have only read, we have only analyzed, but we have actually not gone deeper inside so that the change may come. So, mental age and age of, you can say, age of the consciousness, in my opinion, actually goes together. Your maturity happens, it can happen with the mental age as well. If you really think that, you know uh, as Socrates have said, if you have knowledge, your character should change. If you have knowledge, your character should change. Now, what does Socrates means? He is saying that if you are reading something, your character should change from inside, because unless you are changing from inside, outside cannot change. Your action won't change. But in reality, it does not happen like that. In reality, we hardly change even with the reading. So now that is one part of the process. That is, I am reading, I am doing my whatever analysis there, I am doing reasons and all that, and still I am not changing. Now, why I'm not changing? Because my inside something is not happening. All is on the surface. So, had something changed by reading the book, if my whole personality has changed, right? If I'm thinking about it and I'm changing myself, mental age has matured. But in my opinion, mental age again matures with the age of the consciousness. That is, you go inside, you are conscious of yourself, and then the change will automatically occur. So both of these things, they are combined together. But then, what is the age of consciousness? We do not. So because we are not connected with this age of consciousness, we are not connected with the past. Our total disconnect is there with the past, so there is no age of consciousness. I do not know what I was. I do not know, how old I have been. My connection with the past is disconnection with the past is complete. I'm talking about, uh, you know, um, when I'm talking about this past, I'm talking about the age of consciousness. So when you go inside, slowly and slowly you change from the inside when you are conscious. So as you are more and more conscious, you get more and more mature. Your mental age also gets matured. But it can also happen with the knowledge. It can happen. If the character changes with the knowledge, so be it. So both ways are there. Normally it does not happen like that, but yes, it can.
But then you gave certain examples of very, very young individuals like Shankaracharya and Mozart. They were not well read at that tender age. So there was something definitely different. They were born with something different.
Right.
Then, so what is that? That is what I'm interested in knowing. That makes them different from a regular. Like, what is? Obviously, they were affected. They're still connected with their past uh, consciousness or lives or whatever it is, their journeys, and so
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 this is
that is
basically
another.
this is basically an example of a continuous process. Now, the process is continuous for all of us. It is continuous for Shankaracharya. It was continuous for Shankaracharya. It is continuous for us. But Shankaracharya could remember it somehow. We don't know how. There is a story about Buddha. So when Buddha was born, and Buddha was a small kid, I have told this story before as well. To just make a point, I'll tell it again. So this saint came down from Himalayas, and this was a very big saint. So he came down from Himalayas in his old age, and uh, King Buddha's father, he brought a little toddler into his arms, and then he showed it to this saint. And saint touched the feet of this toddler, which would become Buddha. And so father was surprised. Why are you doing this? Why are you touching the feet of my son who is such small? He said that in the time to come, this man, this little kid will be Buddha, and I'll not be around to see it because I'm of the old age. I'll die, and this is really unfortunate because I want to see it. What does this means? It means he will become Buddha in the time to come, but there is this continuance in the past. So some of us knows it, some of us don't. Many of us don't. In case of Shankaracharya, even if not consciously he knew it, but it happened with him. With him, it happened with the Mozart. Because sometimes we are surprised to see such sparkling skill in some of the people. How can they learn it in such a little time? Maybe Picasso, maybe Mozart, maybe somebody else. How can they do it in such a short time? How can Vivekananda died at the age of 32? But he did so much in that age of 32. He became he became so much. So that's why we say that it is not about just one life. It is about the continuance of many past lives. It is like that. But there is nothing we can do about it, to be honest.
Because if the age of consciousness is same for everyone,
Yes,
then
it
we should
is.
be born soon.
Yes, it is.
Then we should have the mental age should be same, right?
We should have, but again, the disconnect is there. That is the
And
problem.
what causes that disconnect, we don't know.
So, we have talked about this before. If that is one incident, that if you are when you are dying, then you are, even in the death we are unaware. So we are born unaware. Actually, the entire life we are
Yeah.
unaware.
Now I get
The
my answer.
the way we live life, we are actually living it unaware. So we die unaware. So we are born unaware.
Okay.
We don't know anything.
Oh,
This whole,
now I got.
you have asked a very fundamental question, a very relevant question, because that's how we live. That is the problem with us. If we live the life consciously, slowly and slowly, as awareness will come in, we will also die consciously. And if we die consciously, then maybe we'll born again consciously. So, as you ask for the mental age, in that case, your mental age becomes mature. Right now, it is like nil bata nil. I mean, it's like zero. We go to zero, and then we start from the very scratch, and then we again go to zero. That's what we do actually. Every day we eat food. The food gives us some energy. Then in the daytime, we take sleep, and the energy is there. And then in the daytime, we again deplete all the energy in useless things. Most of the things we do are useless. We deplete again, and then again we take food, and then we do it all the time. And so we are doing with our lives as well. We live unaware, and then we die, and then we again born, and then we live the entire life unaware, because had we been aware, we would not be doing so many stupid things we do. Aware person would not do it, right? That is what is the meaning of awareness. If you are angry on somebody and you are aware, can you really be angry on someone if you are aware that I am being angry? If you are jealous about something, and if you are aware, can you really be jealous if you are aware? Because it will harm you and you only, nobody else. So we live like that only. Same goes with all the emotions.
Sundarji, I feel we all mentally mature after attending all your classes for the last 3 years. I feel that. So there's something.
And now comes the next step.
And
Die consciously.
there is no next
Actually,
step.
I had read an article and I was very intrigued by it. I just shared 5 minutes ago. When you asked in the beginning of the class if we had any question, I did have a question which was not related to this. It's about the monks and their self mummified monks, and I was confused. Like at one point, the spirituality talks about not. Body being, just a vehicle and not giving it importance. And then why would they mummify themselves? Why are they giving so much importance to the bodies? Uh, and but you just answered that question. Now I got the answer to that. It's like they are going away more consciously. It's not about preserving their bodies, but passing away into next realm more consciously. So yeah, that makes sense now. So, but it's a very interesting article if anybody wants to read it.
Yeah. So there are actually, sometimes if you are really interested, you should read Gorakhnath. So Gorakhnath, besides Patanjali, because Patanjali happened thousands of years back, and Gorakhnath happened couple of 100 years back. So Gorakhnath has done a lot of such experiments on himself about the yoga. So he's more about tantra mantra and yoga. So Gorakhnath is one of those shining stars in this spiritual scene. He had done so many experiments. He has taught so many different kind of meditations. Nobody else has. So people do all these kinds of different things, and that is okay. But eventually, as when you are on that path, as Patanjali says, to go to samadhi, eventually you may come from this path, you may come from yoga, you may come from this, you may come from karma, you can come from this knowledge. There are different paths, but eventually all the paths will merge into one.
Mhm.
So it doesn't matter what path you have chosen. You have chosen the path to be mummified, or you have chosen the path to be this and that. It doesn't matter at all. But problem is with the paths are we become path dependent. That becomes the problem. The path is a path. It is not the end. And we see it as an end. If I am a Jan, it is just a path. Mahavira gave a particular path, saying that if you walk on this path, you may achieve this. But it does not mean that what Buddha gave was any different. But then we start fighting. Christianity says something and it is a path. Hinduism says something and it is also a path, and you can take both the paths. But then we start fighting. No, my path is better than your path. My God is better than your God. Then it becomes a problem. We become path dependent. And that is why I am really against being a Hindu or being a Christian or being a Jain. This is the problem. The problem is not in being a Christian or in being a Hindu. It is okay, but this is superfluous. This is irrelevant. What is any relevance in being a Hindu? I'm same. If you take my blood out, can you really say that I am a Hindu or I am a Muslim or I am a Christian? Can my blood say that? Can my bone say that? Can any thing in my body, if I'm if you take if I don't tell you what my religion is, can you just guess what my religion is? Not from my outer experience, but from my body. You cannot ever say it. It cannot happen. So all of these are really superfluous, and we are fighting on these superfluous things. That is a problem. So path it does not matter. Egyptians say our path is that the bodies are mummified. Chinese say our path is that we do this stuff. Hinduism say that our path is that we burn the bodies. That's how we think. It doesn't matter at all. If you really ask me, at the end of the day, all of this will go. It has to go.
Also, if you consider that, like you said, if you really pay attention to your consciousness and you don't get so attached to this life, but you consider that you have probably millions of other lives. Maybe in a previous life you were a Muslim, in the one before you were a Christian, in the one
Absolutely,
before you were a
yes,
Jew. So what matters
absolutely,
at the end, right?
yeah. In fact, there is a very
That's what we
beautiful.
don't understand.
In fact, there is a very beautiful mantra in Ishavasya Upanishad. We are reading Kathopnishad, but Ishavasya Upanishad, there is a very beautiful mantra which says that I am really free when I see myself in all the bhutas. Bhutas means elements. So there are millions of elements outside. It is when you see yourself in all the bhutas and all the bhutas are in you. It means what Steph is
Yeah,
saying, that if I can see that I was a Muslim in my past life, I will
yeah,
stop hating the
exactly.
Muslims. If I see I was a pig in my last life, I'll stop hating the
Yeah,
pigs.
exactly.
So, and
I
that
was
is
a
a truth.
horse, a cat.
That is a
I
truth.
was maybe in a past life you were just a mountain.
Yes, absolutely. Very true. You were like a small cockroach. So when you
Mhm.
know that, when you have felt that and you feel it, when you are actually going inside, when you are doing pratyahara, that is the start of it. Because you feel that I'm a part of this. I'm a part of this person who I'm fighting with. He is into me and I am into him. The love will automatically happen. There is no need to spread that you have to love your neighbor. If you can see that the neighbor is into me and I am into the neighbor, I am part of an umbilical cord. It has not broken yet. That's how it is.
True.
But we don't teach that. No
Mhm.
school in any university or college teach that, unfortunately, which is the very
No,
fundamental basis of our existence. We should not
true.
be.
I service. I
No.
wish they would teach those things to our kids in the school, because they never teach those things.
Right.
Never.
And then we talk about coexistence, and then we talk about teamwork. What teamwork? All the mantras, all the talk about teamwork in corporate circles is nothing. It's just nothing. It should happen automatically if you can feel what Steph is saying, that I was this also. If you see a beggar today and you are feeling pity, oh, you were a beggar not so long ago, and you will be beggar not so much after. Who knows? Then what karuna you has, what kindness you will have inside is something different. Then there is no pity, there is kindness for this word and for ourselves as well. You don't change the word through pity, you change the word through kindness. Because pity is when you have put somebody down. Kindness is then you understand, I am this. It is for me. This beggar is me. This sick person is me. I'll be sick tomorrow. I'll be beggar tomorrow. Tato bhuyo ivam ve. It says all bhutas you see in yourself. And all bhutas,
And
you are in all
yes.
bhutas. So it is like that.
And like you said also in the other classes, the problem is that we are always ready to criticize. We always criticize others, and we never really look at ourselves. Like the problem maybe is not others, but maybe it's from us. But we reverse on us.
Right. Absolutely. Cool. Very nice thoughts.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.
Steph, I love you.
Oh, thank you. I just
Every time
wash my hair.
you come to
and
the
dry.
screen, I get distracted because you have such beautiful hair.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you. I appreciate. I actually just wash and dry. Usually I straighten my hair, but today I left like this. Didn't have time.
Okay, great then. Thank you so much for listening so patiently to me.
Thank you.
God bless you.
Beautiful lesson. Thank you.
Thank you.
Namaste.
Namaste.
to all.
Yes,
Bye.
very deep. Okay. Everyone have a good evening.